Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today DICE just revealed Battlefield Portal for Battlefield 2042, and it honestly has the potential to be one of the biggest and best things that has come to the Battlefield franchise in a very long time. Now I know what you're probably thinking right now. Matt, that is a bold statement. I know. Trust me, I know. That's how incredible this could be. Now, on a surface level, Battlefield Portal is going to allow people to play on fan favorite maps from previous titles, like 1942, Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3. Some of the ones that stick out is like Battle of the Bulge, Arica Harbor, and Caspian Border. There's going to be 6 maps in total at launch. On top of that, they're also going to be remastering the weapons and gadgets from these games as well, and including them. If you want to run around with the M16A3, which was easily one of the most iconic and popular weapons from Battlefield 3, you're going to have every ability to do so. If you're playing on Battle of the Bulge and you want to run around with a classic Garand or Thompson, that's also going to be available with Battlefield Portal. If all of that wasn't enough though, they're also going to be including the vehicles from these different time periods and also destruction on maps that normally did not have destruction, like 1942, because there just wasn't the technology back in the day when that game first came out. And so I think if this was the only thing that DICE revealed at EA Play, players would be thrilled. We're going to be getting 6 remastered maps on top of the 7, so that's going to be 13 maps total at launch. Yes, some of them are remastered, but we're also going to be including the vehicles, the weapons, and gadgets on top of that. Like, that's a lot of content to enjoy. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. One thing the developers have been really hammering home about with 2042 is that they want it to be a sandbox experience. They're giving players the necessary tools like weapons, vehicles, gadget specialists, and allowing them to tackle problems however they want. It's really going to allow you to tailor it to your playstyle. But those sandbox elements are taken to the extreme with Battlefield Portal. They're essentially giving players mod tools. Now, before you get your hopes up, you're not going to be able to make your own maps. At least I don't think they're going to that extreme, but pretty much everything else is going to be possible. You probably noticed during the trailer that it looked a bit ridiculous when you had soldiers who were using defibs and everyone else was running around with a knife. Well, that's because you can mix and match different eras. If you want to, you can have those futuristic soldiers running around on one of those new maps in 2042, but the other team can be playing as a faction from 1942 and using those old school weapons if you want to do that. If you want to play on the classic Arica Harbor, but you want to play with maybe more than 32 people, which is what the map was originally designed for, not only did they make a larger version, a different one that is going to accommodate that larger player count, but you can go all the way up to 128 players. You really like the Robo-Dog, but you think it would be funny and cool to have him running alongside old school tanks and transport vehicles from 1942? Go for it. You want to set up a server that is sniper only? That's going to be at your fingertips. If there's a weapon or an attachment or a vehicle that is problematic in the main game and everyone hates it because it's overpowered for whatever reason, you can make a server that is just classic. It has everything else in it, but that one thing you can just remove if you want to. They're giving players mod tools essentially. Like, this is incredible. They have never done anything like this on this scale. It's absolutely amazing. Now, if all of that wasn't enough though, it goes even deeper. Everything that we've talked about so far is going to be very accessible. DICE is creating a website specifically for Battlefield Portal that is going to set up checkboxes on what you want to see in your server. From map rotation, game modes, different vehicles, you're going to be able to go on through and check mark everything that you want and get very specific. But if you want to take it to the next level, they're also including a logic editor. This is where it kind of resembles more of programming, where people that are very advanced and understand the inner workings are going to be able to create literally their own game modes. The example that they gave at the event that I attended is that you can set up a server with rules where if you take out another player, your HP will go back up to full. So you could have it where you go on these incredible streaks. As long as you have the accuracy and you're taking everyone out, you're never going to be on the back foot or at a disadvantage, at least when it comes to your character's HP. You can make it so that you have faster movement speed. You can turn off proning, no sprinting. You can also just remove AI. I know a lot of people are a little hesitant about the AI in the base game. If you don't want that on your server, or at least in this Battlefield portal, that is going to be an option. Now, sadly, I don't know how in-depth this logic editor is going to be in the long run. They only gave us a couple of examples, but from what I saw, it looks extensive. DICE is really giving players, if they want to delve into this logic editor, to essentially create their own unique game modes that have the potential to become incredibly popular. Who knows? Maybe some of these modes are going to overtake the base game. It's unlikely, but the fact that they're even giving this as an option, I think is fantastic. Another thing that I was really happy to learn about with Battlefield Portal is that if you are someone who really isn't interested in these silly modes, you just want to play the tried and true formula of Battlefield, you're going to have a curated playlist that is going to fulfill those needs. If you just want to play on all 13 of the maps or just the old contents, that is going to be possible. If you're someone who maybe likes the idea of trying out some of these more experimental game modes that the community has come up with, but you don't want to spend a lot of time going through all of them, DICE is also going to have a section where they curate some of the top choices from the community. And then if you are someone who doesn't mind shifting through some of these servers, there's going to be tags that will give you an idea of what kind of gameplay experience you can be expecting from one of these custom servers. So if you are looking for something very chaotic, like a smaller map TDM, for example, that's going to be an option. This is something that is worth noting, is that DICE recognizes that not everyone is going to want to play on larger maps. Some people just like chaotic action. I'm looking at you, Operation Metro. And so they are going to have preset locations that are smaller arenas, like TDM arenas. So maybe the stadium on the larger Battlefield 2042 map that they've been showing off. That could be a small arena where you could set up one of those modes. This is going to be that tag system that you're going to be able to use to find that kind of action. And so at the end of the day, DICE has pretty much covered everything that you could want. If you're someone who is looking for the pure Battlefield experience, it's going to be there. If you want to have a fun game mode that's really popular amongst the community, that's going to be there as well. And then finally, if you want something very specific, you're going to have the tools to find it. In general though, hopefully you now have a better understanding of why at the beginning of today's video, I said that this has the potential to be one of the biggest and best additions to the Battlefield franchise in a very long time. The amounts of content just increase exponentially. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's gonna be limitless, like we're never gonna wanna have to play another Battlefield ever again. We still don't know what the gameplay is like. We haven't gotten our hands on the game itself, but this is looking really promising. I honestly am having a really hard time of thinking of any negative from this announcement. I think that DICE hit it out of the park. Maybe you could try to make the argument that maps like Arica Harbor and Valparaiso, no matter what you do to them, are never going to be able to accommodate 128 players. They were designed for 32. You can try to make them a little less linear, but they're still going to be very linear maps, and trying to fit 128 players inside of them is going to result in pure chaos, and it's not going to be any fun. But on the flip side, yes, that could be an issue if you make it an issue. You have the ability in the palm of your hands to create these servers however you want. So you want 64 players, you want 32, you want 10v10, whatever you can think of, these tools are gonna be able to allow you to have that kind of gameplay. Now, some people could say, well, if you give everyone 128 players as an option, everyone's always going to gravitate towards that because people obviously like the chaos. Operation Metro and Operation Lockers are clear examples of this. People just like to get in the action quickly. And so yes, you could say that these smaller servers, 32 players, is an option, but if no one's playing on it, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And that is a good argument, but we're gonna have to wait and see how things progress. I think what they've delivered is just exceptional. Overall though, if you can't tell, I cannot wait for this content. I want to see what the community is going to come up with, how it's going to change and evolve over months and years. Hopefully it's going to last years, and I think this is going to be one of the reasons why it potentially has that longevity. This isn't the end either. DICE has said that they're going to be supporting this mode and just the game in general for multiple seasons, and that's going to include maps, new characters, new specialists, different weapons and things like that you can also use in this mode as well. And so I keep telling myself, don't get excited. Don't get too excited. DICE has been known to have rocky starts when it comes to Battlefield, but I gotta say, things are looking really positive, and I'm crossing my fingers that they're going to be able to have a fantastic launch. Yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about this announcement. Do you think that this is a great step in the right direction for Battlefield 2042? Do you have some concerns here and there, something that I couldn't think of? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.